Hello everybody, I'm finally back. Sorry about this absence. To compensate for that, we're going to have a whole week of new videos. And what is the best way to start rather than getting new cards? All of these cards were purchased by me locally from an LGS, and there is nothing incredibly spectacular about them. These are foreign black bordered cards, but it's still very nice to look at them, to maybe look at different colors, different languages. This is one of the reasons why I love foreign black bordered. For me, it's not only about black border and different colors, different printings, which is also important, of course. By the way, I hope you've noticed that we have a new camera now, so it should be very crisp. This is a 4K resolution that I'm shooting at. So it's also about the languages, since, you know, I'm a linguist and I've always been interested in different languages. I understand French, German, Spanish, a little bit of Italian, currently learning Japanese. So I did get to the level, at least at which I can distinguish Japanese from Chinese. Not something to be proud of, but I also understand some of the more basic stuff in katakana and hiragana. So anyhow, this one is obviously French, right? This is Shatter, not the perfect condition. Shatter is an interesting card that I don't always use because it's, well, strictly worse than Disenchant, as you understand, because it's basically the law of old school universe that red cannot deal with enchantments rather than by using some artifacts. We also even have foreign white border. Didn't notice that it was white border, so probably wouldn't have bought that, but yeah, there you go. Phantasmal Forces, incredible card. I like it a lot. Pity about the 1 toughness though, because very easy to shoot them. Vampire Bats is one of those old school cards that you remember from back in the day. Maybe you used to play it, but now you will only play it in some incredibly limited environment because, you know, when it comes to menacing, black usually has better options. Scale Zombies, these are in Japanese, obviously, right? And that's pretty nice, I would say, if you combine them with the Lord, but other than that, I mean, a couple of Lords only. We should revisit zombies in some way, very important archetype. Cursed Land, I just love the art here. You know, it works so well with the black border, so this is very important part of Magic for me. So this kind of a skeuomorphism, I don't know if it's the correct term, I did hear it in the design, but essentially the point is that if you have, for example, some kind of an interface of software, then the buttons would look like the functions perhaps, or they would take the shape of the things that perform the same function. So that's why, for example, for YouTube, the very first icon that you might remember was this, you know, old school style TV set. Okay, this is what we had, and you know, if you remember those old Winamp skins, I guess you feel some kind of nostalgia for them. And now with some amazing technical capabilities, you know, with all of this real-time GPU-powered 3D rendering, we could have gotten much more impressive software interface that we have, but we just don't. So a little digression here, but this is just my explanation, perhaps, of the trends in design, and that's one of the reasons why in 2003 they changed the border to this atrocity that we have. Actually, now we have slightly better variants of that, I would say, but yeah, in the days of Mirrodin, they just minimized everything, and made it very bland, and basically the border didn't just do anything for aesthetic purposes, it was just there, and it was informative. But here, you know, it's a whole piece of art, and it blends together with the art itself. So I just love it. Cursed Land, by the way, not a bad card. This is a very reliable counter, maybe a little bit like Underworld Dreams. It costs 1 more, not so strictly locked into black. And of course, Underworld Dreams can be activated several times if you somehow manage to get your opponent to draw several cards, but you get the idea. Overall, very nice card. I played it in the black and green Enchantress deck. the evil enchantress. You can look up the video on the channel. Next we have one more nice card from back in the day, which I never played after that. Battering Ram, 1/1, and you know, when it comes to walls, pretty much nobody plays them, unfortunately, and neither do I, except for some of the very, very niche cases where we would actually get some walls with some special decks, for instance. So yeah, Jotun Soldier, not such a bad card by itself. You know, Vigilance, 1/4 for 3 mana, colorless, that's okay. Maybe should work a little more with Vigilance. So yeah, this one is in Chinese, right? Yeah, that's traditional Chinese. You know, we have traditional and simplified. So this one, as far as I remember, is traditional. So meaning the one that is used, for example, in Taiwan, right? That kind of script. And simplified Chinese, which is in mainland China, is not even available in most editions, if I'm not mistaken. But it does exist. Okay, next one, we have Jotun Soldier. Okay, and that's a different one. In terms of languages, next we have Japanese Grapeshot Catapult. You know, a pinger, conditional pinger that only pings flying creatures. Sadly, that's a little bit weird. And you know, this is a very strange picture, But I mean, Dan Fraser, he has his own sense of humor, so there you go. This one, by the way, this is Fallen Empires. And as you can see, the card itself, I actually do have. Interesting enough, it's the very first Fallen Empires card that I ever got. And I got it maybe about 15 years ago. So yeah, it was an incredibly long time ago. And this was back when, you know, online purchases was still not very common, and we never had Fallen Empires locally. So even though these were essentially bulk cards, still somebody had to import it first, somebody had to bring it here first, and then as a result you would get some insane premium. Just like I told you the story of this, you know, Wall of Earth, which I first saw at a local game store, and this one of those, you know, card shark guys said that, you know, he would give it to me for $5, and back then I was just a teen and didn't have any money, so I thought that the price was fair, you know. So yeah, this one, Breastclaw Orcs, I just traded some of the more or less playable card for that one, but I had different art. That's the point I'm trying to make. This one is actually very nice, by Heather Hudson. I think I like it a lot. The point is that, you know, when I ordered these cards, when I got into Fallen Empires, so first of all, at first Fallen Empires were not really a thing, because we mostly played Swedish rules. EC rules were very niche, so I didn't have any kind of a play group to play Fallen Empires with. Then, with the much more rapid spread of Atlantic variant of Old School, we got the Fallen Empires cards, so I purchased quite a lot of them. But in some stores you couldn't select. I think in Troll and Toad you could not, and I used to buy most of my cards from Troll and Toad back then. You couldn't choose the variant of these Fallen Empires cards, so, you know, you would buy 4 copies and you would get something random. Sometimes kind of a variation, never, you know, 4 different arts or 3 different arts or 2 different arts, you know, no matter what card you had. It's not only about Fallen Empires, pretty much any set with the art variation. So yeah, I'm missing some of these. This one is completely useless as a card, you know, because in Fallen Empires at least creatures can work. Yes, they may be overcosted, but they can still do something, okay, because it's a creature. So yeah, this guy, same thing. Orcish Veteran. Very nice art by Melissa Benson, by the way. Oh, where is Melissa's? Yeah, here it is. Her monogram, I think is called. Right, her signature, kind of. Tunnel, okay. Sorcery, okay. No, it's not sorcery. Okay, you see how it works with this katakana, you know? I kind of know what it should be, but, you know, then I don't get very deep into this. So, no, of course, it says insutanto, okay? So, instant, obviously. Yeah, and the toneri, Okay, so yeah, there you go. Essentially, there are a lot of English words. Some of them are English words, well, derived from English or some other European languages. When it comes to Japanese, simply because some of the concepts do not exist in Japanese. So when it comes to, for example, some fantasy creatures, right, the Western mythology, for instance, so that's quite obvious. Also some technical terms, such as some terms based on the rules of the game, right? But in some cases, it's the same thing in Japanese. I mean, that it's already a loan word from a different language. Very often English. Okay, so here we have one more. Shatter, black bordered, Brothers of Fire, always an amazing card, right? And this one is actually Portuguese, right? This is not Spanish, this is Brazilian Portuguese. Okay, not hermanos, but irmãos de fogo. Okay, not fuego, as it would be in Spanish. So yeah, probably I'm doing the wrong thing by comparing Portuguese to Spanish, so I should be forgiven for that, but I'm just saying that, yeah, it's not. And it's actually pretty rare, so getting Brazilian Portuguese cards when it comes to old school is not such a simple thing to do. So very nice. Amazing colors, amazing card. Nice to have Brazilian Portuguese, don't have a lot of that. One more, next time, I mean not next time, but this time Chinese. And just look at that. Look. We also have, my God, I just noticed that. Where is, whoa. Okay, I might have discovered something. So, I mean, where does it even come from? They don't have flavor text, do they? Why do we have this quote in the Chinese? 1996, I should investigate that immediately, you know. Well, actually, it turns out that I was wrong, because this quote had been here all along. Shame on me for never noticing it. Maybe it's mostly because I played this one mostly in the Chandelier game, and there you could disable flavor text, which I think I very often did. So yeah, I mean, what's the point of giving the quote in English if you have this as a translated quote? I don't know. Maybe it's correct, so to say, reference, you know, a correct way of citation if you follow the style guide of some publishing house, but other than that, probably not. And interestingly enough, you know, flavor text does have variation in terms of languages. Sometimes it's just a translation, so I just looked it up, and for example, the French one doesn't have this, the bat quoted, but instead it has Victor Hugo, right? The one who wrote the Notre Dame of Hunchback. Well, the other way around, of course, Hunchback of Notre Dame, as you understand. Okay, there you go. So, interesting. Next we have Terror. Okay, I already have Alpha Terror. I already have, I think, German Terror, and Terror is especially nice. So, you know, black bordered cards. This is my personal favorite. Really would like to make a black bordered only deck one day, perhaps, but the problem is that for that I would need black border basic lands, which I don't actually have, to be honest, but we'll figure it out. You know, just for the pimp effect, I should be able to do that. Maybe a suboptimal deck, but still. So, pretty nice. I love it. Fear, okay. That would be German, of course. And it's nice. Sadly, I never used this card because, you know, you have things that are strictly better, and of course, enchanting your creature with evasion, spending one card on that, and then having your creature destroyed or just the enchantment destroyed, not a good deal usually. Next, I got the same thing in Japanese. Probably not gonna play it. I might have only one copy of Fear though. I'm not sure that I ordered a playset. Sometimes I would order a playset of the cards that I would deem to be pretty weak, but still possible to see their use. But realistically speaking, nobody needs a playset of Fear, right? So, Amulet of Krug, you know, one of the things that I would really like to build one day, and I did make some attempts at that, so probably should get back to this idea. is an ultimate defense deck, right? So currently I have built a deck based on walls. I have also built a turbo fog deck. So it's about not the idea of destroying your opponent as fast as you can, but about mounting up the defense that could very often not be breached. Okay, so that would be incredibly hard to breach. And one of such ideas would be to be able to prevent a lot of damage to yourself. And, you know, a lot of damage prevention cards would be there. So it's not a really powerful and viable strategy, but one of the things I would really like to do, and perhaps then we will use Amulet of Crook. So Margaret Organ Keane, with her amazing patterns, those little squares that are put together, and very beautiful, intricate jewelry. Pleasure to look at. Next we have Ashnod's Battle Gear, you know, this prototype of modern equipment. Just look at how weird we have this text carried over, you know, +2, -2. So very often you see that the layout of the card is an afterthought. And, you know, when we deal with translation, I probably should tell you the story of my personal struggle with translating Magic cards, because the very first Magic cards I ever held in my hands were not the original Magic cards, and not even the kind of a promo Magic cards that were printed, you know, the portal cards, kind of a cut out your own deck from a video games magazine. Also a fun thing, probably should tell you about this. But the very first Magic cards that I had were the cards that I just print screened from Chandelier, put them into Microsoft Paint, cut out the text box, and translated this so that my friends who could not speak English or read it would be able to play with me. And of course I printed, you know, Felden's Cane, I printed Ancestral Recall, Darkwood Boars, and a lot of other amazing things. So yeah, getting back to the point, you know, when you translate cards, it's really not easy. So I should definitely tell you this story, maybe even quite soon, this week perhaps. I wrote a pretty nice article about that as a guest writer for the Brothers of Fire blog in the UK, so should get back to this idea probably. So one more Your Turn Soldier, this time Japanese copy, one more Grape Shot Catapult, and also the Japanese version. So there you go, a couple of playable cards, other things barely playable or completely unplayable, but yes, they are black border except for this outlier, and hope that you can see them soon. And thank you for watching. I'm definitely back, so at least weekly videos, but as I told you, this week it's going to be daily extravaganza here on this channel, with some very important announcements, channel updates, old school, pre-modern card videos, deck techs, gameplay, a lot of different things. Thank you for being with me, and I will see you tomorrow.